Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, Patreon, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever, guys. While you're there, go and rate, review, subscribe, then head on over to the Facebook group and Twitter account and join in the discussion. Well, hello everyone. Hope you all are enjoying your weekend. It is Sunday here in Austin, Texas. Another hot one, of course. We got consecutive hot days. I know the hurricane's going to be here in a couple of days, so better enjoy the sunshine while I can. But having a lovely day here. And you know, guys, it's just a great weekend. It's very pleasant, of course. You know, I'm in a giddy mood, so to speak. But, you know, I wish there was something to talk about this week. Whatever could there be to talk about in the world of sci-fi, superheroes, and comic books? I think I'll just have to go to this little event called DC Fandome. That's right, guys. The virtual con put on by Warner Brothers and DC Comics was yesterday. It ran for 24 hours, okay? So started off at noon yesterday and ended noon today. And it was an 8-hour program that basically went on a loop 3 times. So for me, I had to work in the morning. So I came home about 1:30 or so. And I went and, caught it an hour and a half in or so. And I watched it for a while. And then the parts that I missed, I came back this morning and caught the rest of it. So I watched all of it. It's just in little bits and pieces. So a lot of good stuff came from it, of course. And, I'm going to get to that. But first, it's time for the segment, What's Got My Attention? So this is the part where I talk about kind of what I'm watching, maybe what I'm reading throughout the week in the world of geekdom, sci-fi, comic books, all that stuff. And I got to start out with a pleasant surprise. So last week, Hulu announced that they put Thundercats on the streaming service. Now, not only did they put the original 1985 Thundercats, was my personal favorite as a child. My dad used to come home from work every day and we had the VCR and he would hit record on Thundercats episodes. So when I was younger, I just had a whole VHS tape full of about 8 hours of Thundercats episodes. Thanks, Dad. I don't think I ever thanked you for that, so appreciate that. But yes, I loved Thundercats as a kid. But not only do they have that, they have the 2011 Thundercats, the revised version that only lasted 1 season, but I remember I watched it when it premiered. It's got a very different slant than the original Thundercats. I never got past episode 3 or 4, but now it's on Hulu. I'm going to go and check it out. I'm on episode 6 right now. I think there's like 25 episodes in this series, so I'm going to check it out. Quite enjoying it really right now. I mean, I get it. It's a little silly. It's a cartoon. It's based off Thundercats, which is even more silly. I go back, I try to watch those old episodes, and I can't get into it. This one's a little more mature to where, as an adult, I can watch it a little more. So I'm checking that out, going through that. The other thing that has my attention is HBO's Lovecraft Country. Now, Episode 2, tonight, I'm going to check it out. I didn't plan on watching this series. I really didn't. But a lot of people online were talking about it. I know it's based off a graphic novel or comic book. I never read it. I heard of it. I never read it, though. So I had no idea what it was about. And I watch it. I'm like, okay, it's okay. Yeah. And then the end. It hits you. Man, what an ending. You're going to get something that's going to be quite special with this series. So I'm looking forward to episode 2 that I'm going to watch tonight. The main reason, though, I'm not going to lie, the main reason I decided to give this show a chance was actress Jurnee Smollett. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jurnee, she played Black Canary in the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn film this past year. And also, she's in one of my favorite shows of all time, Friday Night Lights, Friday Night Alumni. So, of course, I had to check out whatever the alumni is doing. But this one was quite interesting. It's something that I think, if you're into weird stuff, I think it might be right up your alley. I'm looking forward to episode 2. Let me know if you checked out episode 1. fire back on the Dayspring Discussions Facebook group and, of course, Twitter account. Don't forget dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. All right, guys, so going to my main topics today, it's going to be all DC Fandome. I'm going to try to keep it within my half-hour time frame. It might be a little difficult with all that I have to talk about, but I'm really going to try, so I better get going. So, like I said, DC Fandome started yesterday, 24 hours, 8 hours, 3 times. You had plenty of time to check it out, guys. Even if you had to get up at 3 a.m. to watch something, it's just a sacrifice we make for the things we love. But started out with the Wonder Woman 1984 panel. So director Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, and Pedro Pascal were there for a little of a panel there. And of course, at the end, we got our own new Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. And I think the important thing about this whole trailer is that we finally got a full look at Cheetah. Now, Kristen Wiig playing the character, we've seen, glimpses of her before and then maybe in the middle. This looks like in this trailer we get her at the final battle with Wonder Woman, and she is full out Cheetah, just like you see her in the comic books. It's pretty interesting, pretty cool. The music, everything going on in this trailer seems really cool. Of course, you got Steve Trevor back in 1984, the man out of time, and Wonder Woman, who has been alive this whole time, mourning him, is kind of trying to show him the ropes of this new era. And you get at the very end the joke about, parachute pants, and in the middle you get the joke about radar. Overall, just a film that should have been out by now. It should have already been released. We should be talking about, how we feel about this film and when is it coming out on Blu-ray, but we're still talking about a new trailer. I enjoyed the first Wonder Woman film. I think what Patty Jenkins did with that film was great. I'm not a huge Wonder Woman fan. I'm not even a big Gal Gadot fan, but even I am excited for this movie. I don't really see any negatives coming out of this trailer or this panel, so I'm excited for it. Fire back, of course. Let me know what you guys think. All right, so next up, there was the Flash panel, I believe. Is that it? Is that what it was? I think it was the Flash. Well, the Flash was after the Snyder Cut panel, but I'm going down a list here, and I'm going to talk about Flash. So here we are. So Ezra Miller and the director of the Flash, the current director. Who's the current director of it? I can't remember his name, honestly. There have been so many goddamn directors, I can't remember his name. So anyway, they did a fun little, short thing in regards to Flash. Didn't really give us much except some concept art. But what we've gotten a couple days before was that Ben Affleck is returning as Batman in the Flash film with Ezra Miller. Now, we still don't know how big his part is. Some people are thinking it could be anywhere between, 5 minutes to 20 minutes. It's a Flash movie, not a Batman movie. We know that this movie is also going to be loosely based on some kind of Flashpoint storyline. So people are kind of getting the idea that maybe in the beginning you set up kind of the relationship between Ben Affleck's Batman and Ezra Miller's Flash. A time travel multiverse thing happens perhaps, and Ezra Miller ends up in a different reality where we meet Michael Keaton's Batman, which is who we see in some of this concept art. Now, the director did tell us that the new suit that Ezra Miller is going to be sporting is made by Bruce Wayne, and of course, from that, a lot of comparisons to Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man and Tony Stark, all that were coming out. I try not to be negative Nancy on those kind of comparisons where it feels like maybe they're trying to copy Marvel in that respect, but you can draw what you will. Either way, I am just a little bit interested to see again if this film's going to happen. This film has been in turmoil for years, so many writers, so many directors, the star himself getting into some trouble recently, which they didn't mention. I didn't think they were going to, but it's a film that I think has a lot going for it if done successfully, but it's got a lot going against it, namely because it's got a successful TV series of the same name to compete with, and they did have the Flash panel, the TV show panel, which that was the one that was after the Snyder Cut, which is why I got it mixed up. But with that, of course, we got a little small snip of the Flash TV series. And, how do I put this? The Arrowverse shows are a bit of a controversy for me, okay? Arrow ended last year, that's fine. And now Flash is kind of the flagship show of the Arrowverse, I feel like. You got Supergirl, you got Batwoman, you got Black Lightning, you got Legends, and then to the side, you kind of got Stargirl now. But Flash is kind of up front and kind of the big one. And with the COVID-19 virus, cut production short on a lot of things. They never got a chance to finish the full season on The Flash. So they're going to be dealing with kind of the last couple of episodes at the beginning there, dealing with the Mirrorverse and Mirror Master, and kind of tie all that up. Where they're going to go from there, I don't know. I watched the show. I watched the Arrowverse shows. But to be honest, they're not as enticing as a lot of stuff that's out on TV, which is why I don't put up with the commercials on CW app. I don't sit through 10 minutes of commercials for every episode. It's 20 episodes plus every season. It's too much. It's too much. There's too much else on TV or on streaming services that I want to watch. I got to choose wisely. And I choose not to, spend another couple of hours every season watching commercials. I'll wait till it comes to Netflix, or at this point, it might just come to HBO Max, and, I'll watch the full season there. And even then, honestly, it doesn't have my full attention because it's not one of those shows that I got to put down my phone and really pay attention to. But either way, Flash coming at you guys. What do you think? Do you think the movie's actually going to happen? Do you think that, the TV show is going to continue on doing good? What do you think, guys? Fireback, Facebook group, Twitter account, dayspringdiscussion.com. All right, switching gears real quick to a video game. And if you hear a little noise, guys, that's just my Roomba doing its thing. It gets to clean the house while I get to talk about DC Fandome. You know what? Robots are going to, do this stuff for us later anyway. I'm just waiting for my Jetsons robot to come in the mail. That'll be the day, and a great day when that comes. I just got to be sure to be nice to it. But until then, we're talking Gotham Knights, the newest video game from WB Games Montreal, and it's the newest in the Arkham Knight series is what it is. Now, this one's a little different. You watch the trailer, and guess what? Batman's not in it. Now, not to say he might show up later on in the game, but the trailer shows you're playing as 4 characters: Nightwing, Robin, Red Hood, and Batgirl. The Gotham Knights is what it is. And you play as these characters. Each one has a different weapon, a different skill set, the way they move, all that stuff. And you're defending Gotham from the evil that is overtaking it since Batman's disappearance. And then we get a little tease at the end because they tease the Court of Owls. That's right, the famous Scott Snyder characters that were created beginning of New 52. They're bringing in Court of Owls, which is a great new addition to the Batman mythology. You get teased at the end, and that should be pretty interesting to see how they incorporate with that. Now, I'm not much of a gamer. I told my buddy as we were talking about this yesterday, the only games I've played in the last 20 years are Star Wars games, racing games, and hockey games. I really don't play anything else on my PlayStation besides those things. This I might want to check out. I love Nightwing. I love Robin. Batgirl's cool. I always, had an affinity more for the supporting cast of Batman's crew rather than actual Batman himself. So this looks cool. My buddy JR said he's going to buy it and he's going to charge me to come over and play it. I don't believe that for a sec, but it's something I might want to check out and at least, check out the story. It could be cool. Court of Owls in there. It looks very interesting. I think if I was a gamer, I'd be much more excited about it. But if you're excited, fire back. Let me know, what do you think is cool about Gotham Knights? Okay, guys, so before I move on to the bonkers story that is Suicide Squad, I'm going to take a minute and refer you to a sponsor of today's show, Testes. So, is it that time in your life yet? Do you feel like your family is complete and you and your spouse want to not worry about changing that? Well, the decision can be difficult, but the recovery doesn't have to be. After your vasectomy, you gotta get Testes. Doctors usually recommend a jockstrap and ice for your boys to help with comfort. Well, Testes is the best of both worlds. This is for the man who is out on the go and needs to get things done. You get the ice packs from the freezer, strap up, and saddle up. The packs give you at least 20 minutes of comfort, even if you're just sitting around watching the game. And most important, guys, no wet spots. Put on the jockstrap under your briefs and go about your day. They come in 3 sizes, medium, large, and extra large, to get your right fit. Now head on over to testes.com. That's TEST-EEZE.com. TEST-EEZE.com. Your wife is going to thank you for the snip, and your testes are going to be thanking me. James Gunn and the Suicide Squad. The film is set to come out August 6th, 2021, and we finally got a formal introduction to the cast and who everyone is playing. So, of course, the original Suicide Squad film by David Ayer came out back a couple years ago, 2016, and this is kind of a sequel slash reboot to it all. You have Viola Davis coming back as Amanda Waller. You have Joel Kinnaman come back as Rick Flag. Margot Robbie's back as Harley Quinn, and then you also have Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang. Besides that, we got a whole new crew. Idris Elba as Bloodsport, John Cena as Peacemaker, Sean Gunn as Weasel, Peter Capaldi as The Thinker, Nathan Fillion is even in there, of course, as TDK, and you even have a guy named Polka Dot Man. So, of course, you know, I've been reading DC Comics my whole life. I'm familiar, or have at least heard of, a lot of these characters. However, I'm not that familiar with them, honestly. I've heard of, you know, Polka Dot Man. I've heard of Peacemaker, but I really don't know who they are. So that's what I love most about this movie, is that these are completely unknown characters. You know, a general audience is going to go in. You know, it's not Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, not characters who they already have a precondition of what they think about them. These are going to be brand new characters, much like what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy, a clean slate. And he can really, you know, give an audience just, you know, their first look at these not even, you know, B, C, D-list characters in the DC world, and, you know, just how great they can even be. But I have no doubt it's still going to be completely bonkers. I would expect no less from James Gunn. There were 2 little trailers that came out. One was kind of the introduction trailer that introduced what each actor, you know, is playing, who their character they're playing. And there was another one, little behind the scenes, on set, and showing everything in action, of course. Probably, of course, the highlight of what people, you know, look for most is Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She's got several different outfits. A couple of them have become really trade or patented ensembles or outfits that Harley Quinn is starting to be known for. So you do have that. It's, you know, all I can say is it looks bonkers, and I am so excited to watch it. I really don't know what else to say about it, guys. Let me know what you want to say about it, of course. Fireback, Dayspring Discussions at gmail.com, the Twitter account, and of course, the Facebook group. Sticking with the Suicide Squad, we also got another game by Rocksteady Studios that is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So this has characters such as Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark. And they're in Metropolis having to kill a primary target, and they learn their target is none other than the Man of Steel himself, Superman, who has kind of grown into a little bit of a murderous, evil way about him. So it's an interesting trailer, of course. It's, you know, something that nothing you would expect less of the Suicide Squad. This one less so interested in. You know, Gotham Knights, I think, is more my cup of tea, where this one really isn't. I think, you know, if you're a Suicide Squad fan and enjoy these anti-heroes, I guess as you would call them, it could be fun. To me, you know, there was a comic book a while ago. It was Justice League versus Suicide Squad. And I think it came out around the time the Suicide Squad movie came out. They were trying to ramp them up a little bit. And the idea just seemed a little preposterous to me, Preposterous? Did I say that? Preposterous. Preposterous. Yes, that's right. Preposterous to me because there's not a snowball's chance in hell that the Suicide Squad could beat the Justice League. Not when, they work together and do what they do. I just don't think that that's possible at all. So the idea that they can come close. Now, the four of these people taking on Superman, I'm sure they come up with a way to slow him down. But as far as, taking on the whole Justice League, I still don't buy it, which is maybe why I don't buy this game. It's coming out in 2022 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. If you're psyched for it, let me know because I'm really not. Okay, last one before I move on to, I think, the two big ones. Is going to be The Rock's little introduction to Black Adam. And of course, it was The Rock himself, Dwayne Johnson, introducing this whole Black Adam movie that has been in production, or at least been an idea, for a couple of years now. I think it was like 4 years ago that The Rock actually said he was going to play Black Adam. And, the movie hasn't even been shot yet at all, but he came in to give us a little more detail about how he feels like Black Adam is going to shake up the DC film universe, which I completely understand. Now, I always thought there'd be some kind of tie-in with Shazam 2, which we got a name for Shazam 2. It's Shazam Fury of the Gods, right? They had a short little panel. Zachary Levi and the director was there, and they revealed kind of the name of that. Cute little thing. Much better than what we saw from Aquaman, which was pretty much zero. But with Black Adam, of course, I think having The Rock do it was the right way because the man just oozes swagger, I guess you want to call it. He's got that, tone, and he pulls you in, and he just, and that's why he's, the number one money-making Hollywood star so far right now. So that counts. But talking about Black Adam, about how, he lived thousands of years ago, he was in prison, now he's back out, he's going to shake things up, and the JSA is coming for him, okay? You got the Atom Smasher, you got Hawkman, you got Dr. Fate, and then a new person, which I totally forget her name now. I don't have it in front of me, but it's a hero actually I don't think I've heard of. But Dr. Fate and Hawkman. Hawkman, I never was a big Hawkman fan, but I've been reading some of the recent Hawkman comic books. Vendetti, is he the one who's writing it, I think? Again, I don't have it in front of me, but I'm becoming more of a Hawkman fan when you think about, this guy. He's almost like a Quantum Leap type character who keeps, going through time and being resurrected. It's a pretty interesting comic when you think about it in that concept. It's an interesting character, at least. So I'm interested to see, especially Dr. Fate, who, from, Young Justice and Smallville. And we don't really see him live action, but he's a powerful, powerful character. Pretty much the Doctor Strange of the DC universe. So to see him go in there should be interesting. To see him at his full potential, not just on a show like Smallville, will be pretty cool. The Rock, the Black Adam, he's a powerful character, and I think he could definitely shake things up. I think, depending on how it goes, he could tango with Shazam and the Shazam family, tango with Superman. But one thing about Black Adam is, The Rock kind of described it, was he's mainly a villain, is what it is. But he's a villain in a way that Magneto is a villain, to where he wants to do what he feels is right, but he's going to do it his own way. He just has a different opinion of what the right way is compared to everyone else. He's not afraid to tiptoe over lines or completely just crush lines for that matter. So, putting a character in there, putting him against, characters that have a moral center like Shazam or Superman, who he has, equally powerful to go toe-to-toe with. It could be interesting, of course, but we'll see exactly how it's all executed. It's all in the execution, but of course, no better person to play this character than The Rock. No better person to do this panel than The Rock, and I gotta say I was impressed with it, to say the least, for what little they showed. Okay, so last two things I'm going to talk about are probably the biggest panels, or the things that people were looking forward to the most. So middle of the afternoon, at least here, we got Zack Snyder to do a Snyder Cut Justice League panel. So for those you don't know, if you're plugged into this kind of world, I don't don't know how you don't know that HBO Max next year is going to release Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. And what that means is, of course, Zack Snyder had a tragedy happen to him and his family while shooting Justice League. He left the project. Joss Whedon came in, stepped in, and finished the film, but he made a lot of tweaks, shot some additional stuff, and really changed the film from what Zack Snyder's original vision was for the film. Zack Snyder got the green light from Warner Brothers and HBO Max to go back and use 4 hours of footage that he has to make his film. And there you could see in the trailer that's online now all the differences. It starts off with Darkseid, which I gotta say, Darkseid looks pretty weak. I mean, they're still working on it. I get it. Hopefully he looks a little better than what he does in this trailer. I'm not talking he has to be like awesome Thanos, but this looks like a computer video game clip in a movie. It doesn't look great in my eyes. And then the song for this trailer is the same song that Zack Snyder used in the film Watchmen when Silk Spectre and Night Owl were getting it on in Archie. Okay, I remember that scene. I've seen the film a dozen times. I've seen that scene a dozen more, but it was just weird. The of all the songs in the universe he picked the one that he already used in a movie. Or maybe it wasn't him, maybe it was the marketing team that picked it. But it was just weird that nobody said, hey, this song's already been used in a Zack Snyder movie. Maybe we shouldn't put it in this, clip here. It was just weird. Hallelujah is the song, of course. And if you watch Watchmen, you know what I'm talking about. So it kind of took me out of it a little bit. But we did get a lot of good nuggets in this trailer. Most notably, of course, Superman in the black suit, something we were promised. And that final shot of our heroes all there, standing, looking over. It looks like after they had just won the battle, Superman's still in the black suit. I don't think we're going to see him at all in the red and blue suit, honestly. But rewinding a little bit to the beginning, we see kind of an apocalyptic future, a little bit of that vision that Bruce had in Batman v Superman. We see a little broken down Justice League sign. You got Aquaman's trident there. You have Wonder Woman's shield, which I missed the first time, but I caught the second time. And then somebody also pointed out too, floating in the air is a Joker card next to the Parademons. So I did not see that the first time or the second time, but someone pointed it out to me, so I got that there. Now, another highlight of this trailer that we didn't see in the original film was Iris West. Looks like in this one, Barry saves her from a car accident. She gives him a little look. I forget the actress's name. I'm sorry about that. But she was, in the original cut of the film before, it got turned over to Joss Whedon and the film got turned into something else. But that's interesting. We're going to see Iris West in this movie. And then there's the little spoiler there. Oh, looks like my Roomba is knocking on the door. Apologize about that, guys. But looks like also Dr. Silas Stone might be meeting his demise in this rendition of the film, because you see, a laser being pointed at the mother box, destroying the mother box, and it looks like Silas along with it, while Ray Fisher, who's playing Cyborg, screams in the background. It looks like Steppenwolf is also in the background, which, by the way, if you'll notice, in the trailer, you do have the shot of Steppenwolf where he looks like he's coming down to meet the Amazonians like he did in the original film, but he looks exactly not like he did in the Justice League film, but in Batman v Superman. That little scene in the Ultimate Cut, it's in a deleted scene in the theatrical, but it's in the Ultimate Cut, he looks exactly like he did at the end of that shot when you see Steppenwolf in Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Ultimate Cut. So again, there's that transition where it flows smoothly there. Of course, looks like too that there is Steppenwolf taking on Superman in his black suit in one quick shot there too. So you do have that. Now, Zack Snyder did tell us in the panel that we are going to get a lot more of Cyborg, and we're going to get more of Ezra Miller's The Flash. There's a shot where it looks like, Ezra Miller's going through time, and something maybe teased going back to Batman v Superman when we see the Flash try to warn Bruce about Superman. There's that kind of connection there too. And, Cyborg makes sense if you go back and kind of look at the newest interpretation or origin story of Justice League, which is Jeff Johns' New 52. It's very centered around Cyborg and kind of his origins, so that would make sense for that too. And then we flash forward to the end with the line about Bruce saying how they have to unite, how Darkseid might have defeated many worlds, but he's never defeated us, not united. Paraphrasing that one, of course, there too. And then one thing I did notice when I watched it the second time too, that I never noticed before. Jason Momoa, Aquaman, he has the little A, in the front, kind of like a belt buckle almost for Aquaman, of course. I have an Aquaman belt buckle, so I have the A myself. But in the back shot, he also has the A at the end right above his butt. So I'm like, wait a minute. So he's like double A's, one above his crotch and then one above his butt. I don't think that's in the comic books, honestly, but apparently it's in the movie. And I don't know if it's in the original Justice League. I don't really look in that area for Jason Momoa. I know some people do. Maybe my friend who loves Jason Momoa can talk about that, but I didn't notice it until then. Now I got to go back and actually watch it in Justice League and see if it's there. And another thing we got was Zack Snyder saying that the film is going to be on HBO Max and be cut into 4 1-hour parts, though. And then after it's kind of been shown, I'm assuming it's going to be once a week, then it's going to go and put on 1 4-hour movie. So my hope is that, for me, I wasn't a big fan of Man of Steel, to be honest. As a Superman fan, I was just talking to my friend JR about all my things I didn't like about Man of Steel. Batman v Superman, when I saw that in theaters, by the time they showed up with Doomsday, I had my head in my lap like, oh my God, make it stop, please, make it stop. Hated that movie. But the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman, where they put an additional 30 minutes back in, rearranged a few things, actually was awesome. I loved it, okay? And that is kind of my saving grace for what Zack Snyder originally had planned for the Justice League or Superman, really, because you go back and you've heard that he wanted to do Man of Steel, then Batman v Superman, then 2 Justice League movies, and then another Superman movie, which is why some people thought maybe we're going to get a Superman solo announcement in all of this, but we didn't get that. But I like to think that, if Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League cut is good, you could watch Man of Steel, the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League, and have just a massive DC Justice League trilogy that is epic in nature. That is my hope for the film. I'm hoping it goes that way. I think it's got to be better than what we got with Justice League. And to be frank, I don't really, blame Joss Whedon or Jeff Johns or anyone else what happened to Justice League. If you look at everything else that was going on with those films and what the studio was doing, even with Suicide Squad, or try to do with Wonder Woman for that fact, I don't blame, anyone else except for maybe the higher-ups at WB with what Justice League was. Ray Fisher, I know has been talking about claims, behaviors with Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns and one of the producers on that film, and apparently there's more of an investigation going on there. I don't know, that's beside the point with this, but I hope it's good. Like everyone, I didn't like Justice League that much, so I'm hoping this one's better. Again, after seeing the ultimate cut, I believe, what Zack Snyder had planned is at least better than what we got. So I'm anxious to see it, and hopefully it'll turn out good. I still don't know why they're doing it. I mean, they're spending $80 million to recut this film and add the effects and all that stuff. Where they're going to get the money for that, or how they're going to say it's going to be worth it, I don't know, but you know what? I'll leave that up to the bean counters, and I'll just say, thank you, sir, may I have another? Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about with DC Fandome is, of course, the Batman. They ended their presentation with the Batman. They started off with Wonder Woman 84, so in the middle they had the Zack Snyder Justice League panel, so they kind of knew what they were doing there with all this. So at first you had Robert Pattinson kind of giving a little video hello, and then Matt Reeves actually stepped in and was talking and taking fan questions in regards to the film, and then we got a little trailer. And Batman, he's a good character. He's not, one of my favorites, of course. I mean, I know a lot of people love the Batman. I get it. The Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader. I get why people like him, but he's not my type of guy. Him, Wolverine, Iron Man, they're not my guys. Superman, Captain America, Cyclops from X-Men. Those are my guys. Those are the guys that I can relate to. I'm not going to get into the discussion about that right now, but, I do like Batman. Don't love him, but I like him. So going into this, it has a great cast. Matt Reeves, who did one of the Planet of the Apes films. I forget which one, the middle one, right? I think it's the middle one, which is my favorite, actually. He did that. Robert Pattinson, yes, he was in Twilight, which, are horrible movies, but he's done a lot of indie stuff. Look at his indie stuff, the smaller stuff you probably haven't seen. He's a good actor, okay? Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell, Paul Dano, Andy Serkis, Peter Sarsgaard, John Turturro, Jeffrey Wright. Damn, that's a cast. Okay, that is a goddamn cast. So, you get a good director, you get a good cast. Let's hopefully get a good script. What do we got? Well, we got a taste because Matt Reeves, who said he's only shot 25% of this film, showed us what they've done so far. And as a guy who, likes Batman but doesn't love Batman, I was blown away. Completely blown away by what I saw. It was everything that he was talking about and that we heard. And, Pattinson looks great in the suit. I'll give you that. He doesn't have that grubby voice like Christian Bale had. Thank God he doesn't have that. And it's going to be, everyone says it, and I'll say it too. It's like Seven. The movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey. It's, trying to chase a serial killer, the Riddler, who actually wants you to catch him, who wants to find someone smart enough to catch him. And that's what we're getting. The feel was great. The Batsuit looked cool. Everything was just on par with this. And Colin Farrell apparently was in this as the Penguin. No idea. Go back and look at it. I saw the Penguin. I did not see Colin Farrell in that at all. Zoe Kravitz very early on, Catwoman, in all of this. Now, allegedly, this takes place in like a Batman year 2. So he's already established himself with Commissioner Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright. Still maybe kind of a myth to people, of course, in that sense. But I'm glad they're kind of skipping the origin because we know his origin, for God's sakes. I mean, if you know Batman, you know his origin. So we can just kind of move on and dig right into a story that is, looks like it's going to be a detective story. It's going to be Bruce Wayne / Batman, along with, Alfred Pennyworth, played by Andy Serkis, Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon, trying to catch this killer who leaves riddles and wants to be caught. Okay? And I was blown away. I was expecting something cool, and I did not expect how cool this was going to be. And with all the renditions of Batman, you want to, try to change it up. You want to try to give everyone something different. And I think this trailer definitely did that. I think this movie is going to do that. And I cannot believe I'm excited for October 1st, 2021. The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson. There's still some haters out there, still haters out there, my buddy JR being one of them, who doesn't like the ideas of Pattinson. But I try to tell him, and, he shrugs this off. But I'm like, look, even I was a Heath Ledger hater when he was cast as Joker. People didn't like Ben Affleck when he was cast as Batman. People didn't even like Michael Keaton, the comedian, when he was cast all those years ago as Batman. You got to give him a chance. You got to, not just think of them as the most famous thing they've done. You got to look at their body of work. And as someone who's seen Robert Pattinson and other things besides Batman, I believe he has the talent to do this and to do a good job. Got a great director at his side, great co-stars by his side. I can't believe it. I am psyched for the Batman. And what pisses me off is we get this great of a Batman film. I want a goddamn Superman movie this cool, I mean, yes, I know people think Man of Steel is a masterpiece, and I could totally go into why I love / hate it. I'm not going to get into that, but the Batman, I'm psyched for, guys. What did you think of the Batman trailer, the panel? Are you excited for this film? Pros, cons. I want to hear it all, of course. Facebook group, Twitter account, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. DC Fandome. What would you say? Success? Not success? What do you think? I think there were a lot of lull points in my eyes for this, but I think it hit all the right notes. We got a lot of juicy stuff from titles, story details, cool trailers, a lot of good stuff in my eyes. And, they split it. There's going to be more stuff September 12th, but I think, they still put the main stuff in this. September 12th, I think it's going to be a little more low-key, but also maybe a little more interactive as far as cast of, like, the TV shows and movies answering fan questions, which should be cool. We'll see how that goes. But I think this is probably the main event. And honestly, I thought it was good. I liked how Comic-Con did it better, though, where they were already pre-recorded, and then at a certain time, they were released on YouTube where you could kind of watch them one by one, skip through them, and watch them at your own leisure, where you're not set to this time and date. You had these certain times the Batman panel were going to be on, and if you missed it, you missed it. Obviously, you're seeing the trailer, but the actual panel, if you missed it, you missed it. I liked how Comic-Con did it better, but I think DC Fandome gave us more juicy stuff, but oh well, that's how it is, guys. But that's it for me. Now, one little thing before I go, there's a movie coming out this weekend, The New Mutants. That's right. This film is finally getting released. I know, right? After all the turmoil and production and all the stuff that's happened, this film was supposed to come out 3 years ago. Okay? And now it's finally being released. The last of the X-Men related Fox films is coming out, and it's coming out to try to open up the theaters a little bit. My local Cinemark is opening this weekend. I almost thought about going to see Empire Strikes Back, but I didn't. But I have to go see The New Mutants in theaters. My wife is still a little cautious of whether she wants to go or not. I'm going to show her this trailer to see if she wants to go. Of course, I got to show her all the DC Fandome trailers, and we'll see where we stand, guys. But next week, I'm doing my review for New Mutants. I might try to bring a co-host on because I like, the banter with that. I always like the banter. If you're my friend and you listen to this and you know me personally and you want to come talk about anything that I've talked about, you're always welcome, okay? Hit me up. Let me know. I love doing this with a co-host. Unfortunately, I don't always find a co-host, so I do it myself, and we do what we got to do. The Dark Knight rides alone sometimes. Sometimes he hooks up with, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Batwoman, and does the thing together. Either way, it is what it is, guys. But that's it. That's all for me. Fire back, of course. dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, Twitter account, Facebook group, and you can find me personally, Slim Dayspring 12 on Twitter and Instagram. Of course, go on there, chat about all the things you want to chat about, guys, on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll see you next week, hopefully with my review of New Mutants. Until then, may the Force be with us all.